as of
apparently
today.
do you know that Ammon Bundy guy? He had that really long standoff in Oregon with the authorities because he's like some anti-government person.
So everyone in Oregon that's not in Portland.
He's running for
Portland.
Idaho governor as well.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
I was like, oh, Bundy, that name sounds familiar. Yeah, fucking psychopath.
Welcome to Namely 90s. The podcast that takes you back to the time before smartphones, Google, and Y2K. Join your hosts as they relive the pop culture that shaped a generation and the parts that many people wish they could forget. Listen in to the conversation about how the decade defined those who spent their childhood there and how it shaped them as adults. So, turn down the grunge and dial up the internet. Let's get started. It's time for Namely 90s.
That's right. You're listening to Namely 90s. My name's Andrew, and over there is Brandon.
That's me.
You can find us online at namely90s.com or on Twitter and Instagram at namely90s with a 90s, unless Elon has different plans. You can also find the show on YouTube every Monday at namely90s.com/YouTube. And if you'd like to support this show, you can head on over to patreon.com/namely90s, also with a 90s, and sign up for one of our support levels so that we can afford to have a verified Twitter account at the low price of $8 a month. Thank you, Stephen King.
I feel like you dropped it today, but I don't remember.
But they're not letting Trump rejoin before the midterms.
Which is interesting, given Elon's free speech trolling.
I am just turning bright red right now.
I mean, motherfucker won't let us upload our 2-minute Namely 90s minute this week.
I'm currently enjoying Johnny Lawrence's signature beer, the Coors Banquet.
Yes, Johnny Lawrence of Cobra Kai Dojo. The bad guys in the Karate Kid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'm drinking that and turning red.
I'm seeing red by Vendetta Red. Sorry, we did a free word association thing before we started, and my mind's still on that.
I think they read between the lines.
Elon Musk owns Twitter. Thank you, everyone that came out.
Sorry, did you call it twatter? No, I'm sorry.
The two of you that came out to support me during my random streaming times on Saturday and Sunday for the Extra Life Cream Team.
Still don't like the name. Cream Stream? Come check out my Cream Stream.
I will suggest that. It's for kids. It's
Jesus
Cream Stream
Christ.
for kids.
No,
you
why?
should see it. You should see the logo.
I don't want to see the logo. Jeez.
Blame Attack of the Shows, Fiona Nova, Kevin Pereira, and Chasm G.
Speaking of the Cream Team, I finally decided to participate in No Shave November. What? Doesn't make any sense.
Oh, so that's day 2 for you then.
Well, I mean, it's more than 2 days, but I mean, it's kind of a sight gag, but which doesn't really work for a podcast.
Well,
but
you can go to youtube.com/@namely90s to check this out.
The other day I was like, well, I'm going to try to trim it because I get like, there's a fine line between neck beard and real beard. Mm-hmm. And I had like a real neck beard going on. Remind me to tell you about the Magic the Gathering place next to my Taekwondo dojo. Anyway,
you mentioned it.
A neck beard reminded me.
Gotcha.
But it was like, I read online, like how to trim your beard. Cause I don't know. I've never had one before.
Right.
Because I'm 12. And it was like, well, just bend your neck down and then just like find the crease. And I went like this. And I was like, which crease?
Okay.
So I
you definitely need to see this on youtube.com.
I ended up trying for the lower one, but I ended up trimming it too far up. So I had this ridiculous like chin strap. It looked like I was in Smash Mouth.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I cut it a little bit further down. It still looks kind of chin strappy, but I'm going with it.
Just for those of you listening to Beardly 90s, it's the you shave down the length that you want, and you do the trimming.
Yeah, I never know where to do the bottom part though. That's the issue. I think it looks okay.
Yeah, you look fine. Once the chin grows out a little bit more, yeah.
So I'm sure it won't. I'm sure I'll look terrible by the end of the month, but
Well, I mean, just a little sculpting would do you well. I need to too. I was like, fuck it. I haven't trimmed my beard.
We're now up to 4 fucks with mine included. So this is
definitely an E-tag.
episode.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm feisty tonight. We lost our softball. Our for the first place, we lost our softball. So close. First time being that close.
That's what she said.
Yep. But yeah, looking good. I'm sure.
And you get with those weird like beard rollers that somehow like abrades your skin and makes your beard grow more.
More power to you. If you
I'm just gonna squirt pure testosterone on my face.
Do you need any help with that?
I voted today.
Congratulations.
Get out there and vote. But the good news is if you don't vote, you can always just storm the Capitol instead.
Or if you have stormed the Capitol, I would like you not to be able to vote.
I wonder if the guy who beat up Nancy Pelosi's husband is going to vote and who he's going to vote for.
I believe he can still vote until he's arraigned, right?
No, I think you can vote in prison, can't you?
You can't vote. When
is that how those people voted for Donald Trump?
I don't think so.
That was the Russians. No, but how sad is that?
That the entire right-wing media machine is like, this is what happens in democratic cities. Men break into your house and beat you to death with a hammer.
Well, you see, according to Mike Crapo of Idaho, it's because the open borders are causing drugs and crime to come into Idaho neighborhoods.
And that's why a man in San Francisco broke into Nancy Pelosi's house and like hammered her husband.
Maybe the problem with Idaho is that no one can read and they're all on methamphetamines.
Yeah, that sounds about right. And it's not the drugs that are coming over the border in Idaho that are the drugs.
No, I think they're referring to Canada for sure. That 70-mile border with Canada.
Either way, it's not the drugs that are coming in from
Everyone
the borders
in Idaho
that they're
addicted.
using in Idaho. They are making their drugs in Idaho.
They're addicted to maple syrup.
Mm-hmm.
They're now they're freebasing maple syrup. And that's why they're stealing everyone's things.
I liked the fentanyl posts that like I didn't like them because they're like these are the meme posts that the newscasters are going to pick up and be like, your kids are getting fentanyl in their Halloween candy.
No, my God, no, they're not.
Yeah.
Okay, a couple things I want to say about that.
Yes.
First of all, I looked in my kids' bags of candy,
as you
and
should.
there were only like a dozen fentanyl pills at the bottom. I mean, like, come on. No. So there's this whole thing that's been perpetuated that like, if you touch fentanyl, it'll absorb through your skin and you'll die immediately.
Mm.
It's just not true.
No, it's not. There is a specific type of fentanyl that can have that, like you could have that reaction with, but it's not the kind that people are generally using out there.
I use fentanyl all the time, and okay, let me rephrase that. I use fentanyl at work okay. Fentanyl is a
medical.
Fentanyl is a prescription drug that we utilize in my practice.
Right.
And, it's in a bottle. Here's the thing. If it was that dangerous, you'd have to wear like full PPE and gloves and stuff. Like I got a drip on my finger and I was like, oh, oops. And then I just washed it off.
But all those police officers that are touching fentanyl and having spasms,
and let me just tell you, whatever. They had like an exhaust leak in the Ford Explorer for like 9 years, and they were all just getting carbon monoxide poisoning in their cruisers.
That's fair.
But no, and I'm sorry, no one's putting their edible in your kid's Halloween candy.
Exactly. Like that stuff is expensive. Drug dealers are not known for drug users or drug dealers are not known for randomly spiking people with
That's not really a pothead move.
Yeah, it's your money. You're not going to waste your money doing that.
And they're chill. They're not like trying to hurt anybody. They're just trying to get high, dude.
Whatever you say, man.
Dude,
man, bro.
It's not like you're on maple syrup. You should see people on that.
But if you are, waiting to turn in your ballots, tomorrow, make sure you still do that, because it's time to get out and vote or die. World War III, Civil War II. It's whatever's happening between now, when you're listening to this, and when our country has gone to shit. This is the explicit episode. Just fucking get out and vote, so you can say that it's not my fault.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with mail-in voting.
Right, but if you're listening to this, it is too late to mail in your ballot.
That is true.
Well, it's not too late to mail in your ballot.
Probably too late.
As long as it's postmarked by the 8 p.m. on Tuesday, it's fine.
Make sure you go to the polling place with old people and Republicans.
Well, just if you have a mail-in ballot, just take it to a fucking drop-off location today or tomorrow. It's so much safer, and it'll probably be counted faster than mailing.
Yeah, I'm kind of afraid of the polling place because there's this guy Chad hanging around all the time.
Well, that's it for Votely 90s.
I've just made a 22-year-old joke. 23-year-old joke. You're welcome.
Yes, and for those of our listeners that are younger than 23 years old, Hanging Chad was 10 minutes past. We can move on.
Just look up Hanging Chad.
Yeah,
you will be richly rewarded.
Directed to the YouTube video of How I Met Your Mother, where Ted dresses as a hanging Chad 7 years too old from 10 years ago.
I know we're running out of time.
We are out of time.
Jack Ryan season 3 trailer has dropped for those who like that thing. It's got John Krasinski, so
I know him from The Office.
I did not know
Reed Richards from the Fantastic Four is in.
He's the star of.
I know
Tom Clancy's Jack Ryan. I didn't know he wrote A Quiet Place and directed it.
Yeah, and the second one.
I saw his wife Emily Blunt as the guest on The Barefoot Contessa.
Recent are they still making new episodes of Barefoot Contessa?
Yeah, she has a show called Be My Guest, and she has famous people come. It was Nathan Lane before that. It was kind of funny.
Can you name a Nathan Lane movie?
No, I can name some musicals though.
Musical movies?
Well, he was in a lot of movies, but
can't name one.
All of a sudden I can't name them, but he was in oh god. I just watched this and they did a whole interview. I know his dad's an alcoholic, so there you go. No idea what he's in, but I do know we were rewatching Modern Family and he guest stars as their friend Pepper.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Modern Family had a lot of guest stars. Good guest stars.
10 seasons of it. I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
I have probably seen every episode.
Moving
on. The Birdcage.
Yes, the Birdcage. Thank you. Because I remember Robin Williams didn't want to wear another dress, so he played the other character. It was right after Miss Doubtfire. I did pay attention.
Yes. To
the Barefoot Contessa's show.
Gotcha.
Be My Guest. Where they invite celebrities. The very first guest was Juliana Margulies. I was like, I'm in heaven right now. The 90s called. They want their actress back.
Speaking of early 2000s, late 90s, for Halloween, one of the nerd tier celebrities that I follow, Maude Garrett, had a black turtleneck and pink hair, bright neon pink hair that parted. I was like, Andrew would like this.
Is this a non-Me Too'd Chris Hardwick type situation?
It's a woman, Maude Garrett.
I don't know. These days you could have any name. Maude, and then there's Maude. Yes,
and then there's Maude.
And then there's Maude.
Exactly. You must have heard the Garrett part over the Maude that I mumbled. But I was like, Andrew would like this because she did the Alias pose. Yeah, she was
Alias. Yeah,
the pink hair, bright pink hair.
It gets done by season 4, but
it's a J.J. Abrams show.
It's a great show at the beginning. Oh, Kelly keeps trying to get me to watch Lost. I just can't do it.
I liked the season because I watched the second season. The problem is I don't
find any of the actors or actresses likable.
I like Evangeline Lilly.
It seems annoying. So
and the British guy.
Hello.
The the one.
Yeah, Dominic something or another.
Dominic Moynihan. How did Palpatine return? That can't be real. We're turning into Gaz and Dange. We're waffling on for some time.
Well, okay, but our podcast isn't 9.5 hours long.
They listen to our podcast.
I know. I'm just saying, we keep it short and sweet. They have something to say for the full time. We don't. I'm like,
that's true.
I'm tired. Can I go to bed now?
I do. They do produce the hell out of that show. Like,
it's a good show.
I like when Gaz does the bathroom. He's like brushing his teeth while singing songs and makes Dange guess those. Like that's a clever thing to do.
Yeah, we don't do anything exciting or clever like that. We just
I make games.
Shoot the breeze, make games. Like which decade Burger King was opened and
Hocus Pocus 2 reviews.
That was a review for. Okay, that's actually a good bit.
Yeah, I definitely didn't steal that from.
All the love in the world to Gaz and Dange.
Yep, check them out. The Insanely Dangerous Retro Pod Show. They'll probably be on in a couple, month and a half time for the third annual 12 Days of Christmas specials.
Third annual. 36 episodes of Christmas themed television.
Gotta fill those slots.
Always filling slots. That should be, put that on a shirt and sell it. Gotta fill those slots.
I did have earlier this year a list of things we should slap on a shirt and sell. But yeah, you can look forward to that. If you have any suggestions for Christmas episodes of television we should watch, throw it in at our Twitter at namely90s 90s or on Instagram. Same thing.
Yes.
But before
okay.
That, yes.
Shall we move on to the episode?
Bug and go.
All right. Well, why don't you tell us what was going on back in November of 1992?
Travel back with me, listeners, if you will, to November of 1992. On the 3rd, Whitney Houston releases her cover of Dolly Parton's I Will Always Love You.
I always forget that's a cover.
I know, right?
And it's kind of sad when like someone covers a song and their song becomes the iconic
standard
version. Yeah.
I mean, Dolly's version is pretty good.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's a little bit more folksy and a little faster, and doesn't have like that extended and I will always love you.
And for some reason, Kevin Costner's recording it with a video camera with a gun in
it. I know we talked about it before, but we may talk about The Bodyguard like in detail this episode. Also on the 3rd, Bill Clinton is elected president of the United States, beating George Herbert Walker Bush. 92. On the 3rd, Rage Against the Machine releases their self-titled debut album, featuring the song Killin' in the Name.
And what was the name of the album? No, I'm just kidding. I'm sorry.
Rage Against the Machine. Killin' in the Name of... And just since we already have the E-tag on this episode, that's the one that goes, fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me.
Whoa, language.
Sorry to all you moms out there listening. On the 5th, Odell Beckham Jr. is born. Do you know who Odell Beckham Jr. is?
That one's the football player. But isn't he?
Yes, but why would you say
I
that
get this.
one?
So you know I have the whole Harry Connick Jr.
Gotcha.
Thing. I always get him mixed up with Leslie Odom Jr.
Oh, from SNL?
Is that what he's from?
No.
I know him from Hamilton.
No, I thought that was the.
Well, he's in Hamilton
one of the
too,
background SNL members, and also a woman.
He's in Hamilton.
Gotcha.
But then there's the other one that like, who is it that the Kardashians know that like overdosed on drugs?
Pete Davidson.
Who's this guy? Lamar Odom. See, I can't get them all. They're all getting confused. I can't figure it out.
Is he a junior too?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Lamar
I just was
Odom.
very confused.
He was a footballer or a football player, right?
Basketball player.
Basketball. On the 11th, the Church of England votes to allow women priests. Good job, Anglicans.
Wow.
On the 14th, the Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Award broadcast live for the first time. On the 18th, Nathan Kress from iCarly and currently iCarly was born.
A varied acting career.
Yes. Well, I mean, he went off and had a family and is now back as
Lame.
Freddy
No, I'm
on
just kidding.
iCarly. Also on the 18th, the Seinfeld episode of The Contest airs for the first time. Are you familiar with The Contest, Andrew? Did we bring it? We might have talked about it in the first.
Remind me. What? Remind me.
It's the one where Kramer
Goes on a racist tirade.
They have a contest to see who can go the longest without masturbating.
Yeah.
And then Kramer like exits and then immediately enters back in and slaps his money down as he had already lost. Yeah. Also on the 18th, Superman dies in Superman issue number 75, causing a media storm. I remember this. They're like, "Oh my God, Superman's dead," and he was like alive like a year later.
Oh my God, James Bond is dead.
Yes.
I'm getting vibes.
Oh my God, James Bond is dead. 3 minutes later, James Bond will return.
But as a woman, somehow.
Probably. On the 21st.
Which is fine, I'm just saying.
Sonic 2 is released for the Genesis and the Mega Drive, introducing Miles Tails Prower. Do you know who
what does Sonic 2 have to do with Phil Collins? Genesis.
Gotcha. The
Peter
Sega
Gabriel.
Genesis.
Yeah.
Peter Gabriel. Yes, the Sega Genesis, best known for their songs "In the Air Tonight" and "Mama."
I think "In the Air Tonight's" Phil Collins.
It is Phil Collins.
Okay.
On the 23rd, Miley Cyrus is born. Do you know who Miley Cyrus is?
She is the lesser known sister of Kilometry Cyrus. That joke isn't. I don't deserve any sort of response to that joke.
I thought you were going for like Noah Cyrus, and I was just like, "Wow, Andrew knows what her sister's name is."
No,
what their sister's name is. I don't remember if she's using different pronouns. If they're using different pronouns. TV premiering and ending November 1992. On the 6th, we have Nick Arcade ending.
Is that something on Nickelodeon, or is it a person named Nick Arcade?
I believe it's the former. It was they like it was a game show where the kids would compete, and then they had like their own like virtual reality 3D game that the kids had to play through, which was kind of state of the art for 1992.
Somehow I got onto Nickelodeon. Like I was watching On Demand, and then when On Demand kicks off, it goes to the last channel you were on. It was on Nickelodeon. I was accidentally watching it, and it was the most annoying thing I've ever seen in my life.
I mean, SpongeBob
was like young teen. Now. It was like young teen versions of shows, like live action shows. And like at one point, there was just a guy in like a pink sweater with like fake boobs. And I was like, is this really
iCarly?
I don't know what it was, but it was Harvey Danger.
Oh yeah, that's still a part. Like that's a further iteration of the guy that made the Schneider's Bakery, the guy that did iCarly. And
so apparently that's the thing, but I still just think of the band Harvey Danger, whose hit and only single Flagpole Sitta was really good.
I do like Flagpole Sitta.
Now I'm an amputee, goddamn you. That's the best line from that.
Ba 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 ba.
I don't know.
Sorry, the How Much Your Mother theme was creeping into my head.
That's not by the Bare Naked Ladies, by the way. In case you're wondering.
That's the...
sorry, Henry Danger. I had it wrong. I was thinking of Harvey Danger.
I meant
Henry Danger. It's Henry terrible. Danger. Literally unwatchable.
I've never seen an episode.
Don't. I couldn't stand 5 minutes of it.
On the box office, November 1992. On the 13th, we have Aladdin, Bram Stoker's Dracula, Love Potion number 9. On the 18th, we have Malcolm X, On the 20th, we have Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. On the 25th, we have The Bodyguard.
Oh, yeah.
And The Crying Game. And finally, on the 27th on TV, we have Saved by the Bell Hawaiian Style.
So, I mean, it just says pineapple on it?
Yes.
I am now into Hawaiian pizza.
You weren't before?
I hated it.
Really?
I now
Because of
love
the
it.
Pineapple? I don't like the ham.
The salty sweet thing works for me.
Yes, but you could literally put pineapple on any other pizza.
True.
Canadian bacon doesn't do it for me anymore. Pineapple bacon and jalapeno.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
One time we ordered Canadian bacon on a pizza in Canada.
So bacon?
It's just ham.
Fair enough. In the Billboard charts, November 1992. Number one from November 1992. In from August for the first week is End of the Road by Boys to Men. How Do You Talk to an Angel by The Heights for the following 2 weeks. And then for the last week and all the way through to February of 1993 is I Will Always Love You by Miss Whitney Houston. And continuing on for the first week of November 1992, number 6, we have Jump Around by House of Pain.
Jump around. Jump around.
Number 10, we have What About Your Friends by TLC. Number 11 is Free Your Mind by En Vogue. I believe the rest will follow.
Literally just saw an episode of Modern Family where they did that song for that flash mob.
Nice.
Like last night.
Number 17, Walking on Broken Glass by Annie Lennox.
That has Hugh Laurie in the video.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Is he walking on?
I don't know. He's wearing some sort of some sort of weird period outfit.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I've put that in our video many times. Number 21, Layla by Eric Clapton off of the Unplugged album. And finally, number 25, Baby, Baby, Baby by TLC.
Oh, is that that's the one that Justin Bieber covered? No, not at all.
I don't know the accuracy of that.
You know, it's funny. Hi, I'm Andrew, and I need to say the thing. Now let's go to Brandon for the Namely 90s Minute.
Welcome back to our mid-episode break, Namely 90s Minute. Every week we look back at a culturally relevant show, movie, or piece of pop culture that probably helps stoke the algorithm. This week, in honor of Black Panther Wakanda Forever hitting theaters, we're looking back at the 90s Fantastic Four cartoon episode, Prey of the Black Panther. Prey of the Black Panther opens on a jeep driving through the jungles outside Wakanda, tracking a large red gorilla, who then attacks the jeep and 2 nearby Wakandans in African tribal attire. They report back to their chieftain about the incident, and he just says, "It begins," before he accesses a hidden technologically advanced panel and starts hitting buttons. Meanwhile, back at the Fantastic Four base, Johnny is pining over some inhuman chick while the Thing is drinking milk in the middle of the night. The intruder alarm goes off and the Thing investigates and is attacked by the intruder. The whole Fantastic Four chase down the intruder in the Fantastic car, but the intruder gets away. When they decide to go home, they realize they're stuck in a tractor beam and they're pulled all the way from New York to the continent of Africa. They arrive in the mysterious hidden nation of Wakanda and are introduced to Black Panther, played by not the 4th Ghostbuster, and they are his prey. He then proceeds to separate the foursome and take them out one by one. Just as he claims victory over the Fantastic Four by besting Mr. Fantastic, he is blindsided by the Human Torch and pummeled by the Thing, and then captured in the Invisible Woman's force field. Admitting defeat, Black Panther wonders how he underestimated their teamwork and overestimated his own powers. He then reveals that he is T'Challa, King of Wakanda, and that he needs their help, but wanted to test them first. He tells them about Ulysses Klaue and his tragic backstory where his father was killed by Klaue and he swore revenge. He then went to college and learned advanced technology and made Wakanda what it is today. He brought the Fantastic Four there to test his own strength to see if he was ready to take on Klaue. Suddenly, another giant red gorilla attacks and they find Klaue is behind it. T'Challa and Mr. Fantastic cause Klaue's machine to explode, thinking they killed him. But Klaue returns as a living, solid sound. They all fight and Klaue gets absorbed into the ground into a vibranium deposit because reasons. So T'Challa's father is avenged, the Black Panther can rest, but the Invisible Woman says he may be needed again. And that's the Fantastic Four episode, Prey of the Black Panther, in a Namely 90s Minute. More or less.
And now back to the show. Nope. And now back to the show.
Ooh.
And now back to... Nope. None of these are working. I've had too much to drink already. I've had half a beer.
And now back to the show.
And now back to the show.
Anywhere do you still want to keep redoing? I could reply to that text if you want to keep trying.
Why can't I get it right? And now back to the show. And now back to the show.
I just literally picked the last one that you do. So keep going until you have it.
And now back to the show. There it is. Damn it. I just said, and there it is. Son of a bitch. It's fine. We'll just use it. Let's just go with it. Where do I want to go?
Sure. Anywhere? Yeah. I mean, we can wrap it up. I mean, we still have a full half of the podcast to do. We can wrap it up. If we manage to get it under 55, that would be perfect. That's how much minutes I have left on our
how much do we have left to get to there?
20.
All right. Well, I guess we could talk about the Bodyguard.
Okay, let's talk about the Bodyguard. It's a 1992 American romantic drama thriller film directed by it's written by Lawrence Kasdan. He did Empire Strikes Back.
Oh.
It stars Kevin Costner, Whitney Houston, and follows a former United States Secret Service agent turned bodyguard who is hired to protect a famous actress and singer from an unknown stalker. Kasdan wrote the film in the mid-70s, originally as a vehicle for Steve McQueen and Diana Ross. That's interesting. It was theatrically released by Warner Brothers and grossed $411 million worldwide. It's the second highest grossing film of 1992 behind Aladdin. It is the 10th highest grossing film of all time at the time. It was generally panned by critics, and they hated the screenplay and the performances.
I thought it was fine.
I remember it being quite. I mean, I guess it's very melodramatic, but yeah. The soundtrack is the best-selling soundtrack of all time, or one of the best. 45 million copies worldwide. Won Grammy Award for Album of the Year.
Listen, not just anyone when they're writing a screenplay can think of hiding a gun inside of a camcorder.
Yeah, something danger zone.
Why is it shooting a laser?
It's the record light. I think I've mentioned this last time. You'd really like watching Archer. Because because you watched Alias. The Bodyguard camera thing. It's a cartoon spy thing.
I want to say when you said the song "Run to You" was on the album, I was like, the one by Bryan Adams. That's immediately what my mind went to, which is a good song, actually.
I would run. Wait, no, that's I want to say 98 Degrees.
It was in GTA Vice City. But apparently they re-recorded it in 2022. Oh.
Why?
Just to make it better quality. It's a good song.
This was on TNT all the time because I know I've seen the majority of this movie by watching it on television as a 4 to 8 year old.
As a what year old?
A 4 to 8 year old.
Oh, I heard 48.
Yes, I was 48 as I have Benjamin Button disease. I am aging in reverse. But yeah, all I remember is the scene, because we talked about the scene before, probably when this was charting in one of the many months. It's just like Kevin Costner is like diving on stage or something, and Andrew's also reaching his arms out like I am. No, slow-mo dive.
He gets shot.
And then flash cut to them in her bedroom going, and
for 48 minutes, just
extended on
action.
You.
And then all of a sudden, for some reason, Kevin Costner's character has to play baseball.
Yes. It kept, weirdly, he kept saying, If you build it, they will come. Did we must have covered that movie at some point?
No,
right?
we talked about how he was in a bunch of baseball movies.
Bull Durham. We did cover Bull Durham.
Bull Durham, Field of Dreams.
I would
and
like
the one where he becomes the pitcher.
Oh yeah, The Rookie. No,
The
that
Rookie.
was Dennis Quaid.
Damn it.
Yeah,
you're right.
But yeah, I boy. I was gonna say I like Field of Dreams. I haven't watched Field of Dreams in a long time. But we should be talking about The Bodyguard. What do you remember about The Bodyguard?
I remember exactly the scene with the camcorder with the gun in it where he dives in front of Whitney Houston.
Is that because we watched it the last time we were talking about this film?
And I feel like every time someone gets shot diving in front of somebody,
Mm-hmm.
they always end up wearing a sling at the end of the movie.
Oh yeah, that's
I'm assuming
true.
it says the only place you can get hit is the shoulder and not fucking just die immediately.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's fair. It happens from time to time. Aladdin?
I can show you the world.
I can show you the world.
Is that how it starts?
Something like
so.
that. I don't know.
It's by Bryan Adams.
Just a small town. Wait, that's Journey.
Living it up. The world.
I can show you the world. Jasmine took the midnight carpet going anywhere.
Yes, let's talk lightly about cultural appropriation.
Sure. Aladdin is a 1992 American animated musical fantasy comedy film by the Walt Disney Feature Animation and released by Walt Disney Pictures. It is based on the Arabic folktale of the same name, Aladdin. The Irish Arabic Aladdin.
Irish Arabic.
Scottish. From 1001 Nights, which is like a collection of Arabic folktales. And I feel like there's a second name for that, but anyway, the voice cast features Scott Weininger. It's DJ's fucking DJ's fucking boyfriend from
Scott
Full
Weinger.
House.
Okay,
he's the kid that's like always eating a sandwich, and white, and he ends up marrying, spoilers, DJ as her second husband.
DJ Jazzy Jeff. Oh,
Fuller House. No, DJ Tanner, played by Candace Cameron Bure, as you correct.
She's not the jail one, is she?
No, that's Aunt Becky.
Okay.
That's I wanted to say Rebecca Romaine Stamos. That's not.
Everyone remain calm. Who else?
She
Robin,
was the oldest kid in the original.
Robin Williams, Linda Larkin, which
Robin
is like
Williams
that's
is Genie.
I'm gonna say that's my new exclamation. Linda Larkin. Linda Larkin.
Jonathan Freeman must have been Jafar. It follows Aladdin, an Arabian street urchin who finds a magical lamp containing a genie. He disguises himself as a wealthy prince with the genie's help to impress the sultan so he can get his underage daughter. And the sultan's evil vizier Jafar plots to steal the magic lamp for his own uses.
I think you said brazier.
I said vizier.
Yeah, he's a genie in a bottle. You got to rub him the right way.
That's what Jasmine says to Aladdin in the film.
So, okay, white people profiting off of our Arabic culture. Always classic.
There was, so this was the highest grossing film in 92. It was the highest grossing animated film until The Lion King, the first one. And it also had 2 direct-to-video sequels, Return to Jafar in 94 and Aladdin and the King of Thieves in 96. And you can't forget Aladdin 4, Bar Needs Glasses. That one's for you.
Number 1 or number 2? I love that vid.
Animated TV series and a Broadway adaptation. And they
did Shaggy play the lobster? Oh, wait, no, that's a different thing.
Did a live action film adaptation with Guy Ritchie in 2019. Which many people said was not as good. but actually cast
as the original. Oh, shocking!
But it did cast actual people of.
And let me guess, that's why white people didn't like it.
Yeah, probably. I don't know. I mean, Guy Ritchie. But I think the reason people didn't like it was because Will Smith looked like a Smurf crossed with one of those Avatar things.
Yeah, and then he hit a bunch of people. Oh, they're doing an I Am Legend too, by the way, with Will Smith and Michael B. Jordan.
But doesn't the film end with like him and the dog dying?
I mean, that dog is long dead, but apparently they're doing a new one. Maybe it's like a flashback thing. I don't know.
I don't remember because we saw that in theaters. But then there's like the alternate scene, which is like the actual ending to the book. And then there's the happy movie version. So I don't remember which version is the official canon ending to that film. Yeah.
I don't really like Michael B. Jordan. Oh, well.
I do. I think he's good. He was good in Black Panther. And he's from what I hear, he's not in the Creed movies. He was good in Fantastic Four.
Oh, he did. He was in House.
Was he?
Yes, he played a blind man.
Okay, he's in Creed. Yeah. Is he? He's not Creed, right?
I don't know what that is.
Oh, he is Creed. So it's the continuation of the Rocky movies. He plays.
Wasn't he also in?
He plays the son of Apollo Creed from Rocky 3, I believe. I've not actually seen them, but I heard it's good. And he's directing the third one, which is coming out.
Wow.
This fall. No, next year.
Yeah. More on Aladdin?
Oh, right. Aladdin. It's been a long time since I've seen any Disney movie, like any Disney animated movie. So, if you've seen them more recently, let me know.
I've seen nothing.
Clearly. I liked Aladdin as a kid. I remember, like, currently in my brain, I remember there's a stage in Kingdom Hearts where you play as Aladdin. You go to the cave of, I want to say, wonders, and it's Disney. I remember wanting the flying carpet as a kid. That was really cool, just to pretend to be on a flying carpet. I had I might have been one of those kids that's held onto his baby blanket a little too long. So I would pretend that would be my flying carpet when I was like 6 or 7. Who doesn't love Robin Williams as Genie?
True. Irreplaceable.
Unless you slap Chris Rock in the face.
Boom.
Get my wife's name out of Home Alone 2. So Home Alone 2, Lost in New York is a 1992 American Christmas comedy directed by Chris Columbus, back in the saddle, and it's produced by John Hughes.
It was directed by indigenous peoples. No, I'm sorry.
It's an unfortunate name, yes. It's a sequel to the 1990 film Home Alone, and it's the second in the franchise, and probably the last one to star Macaulay Culkin. It also has Joe Pesci, Daniel Stern. Those are the two robbers.
Right.
John Hurt is in this. Tim Curry is in this. Brenda Fricker and Catherine O'Hara.
That name, Brenda Fricker. Linda Larkin.
Catherine O'Hara is. She's the mom. Is she the mom?
Yeah, she's the mom.
Why do I not remember her being the mom?
I know it doesnn't seem right because, like, I know I see her in Schitt's Creek, and I'm like, what?
Yeah, or like any Eugene Levy movie where she's paired off.
She
with him.
aged a lot.
That's true.
Quickly.
And she doesn't have red hair naturally, I guess. But yeah, so Kevin McAllister is separated from his family when they're trying to go to Florida. He gets sent to New York City. I really like this one. He like somehow finds an abandoned building in New York and sets up traps to kill the two guys that are following him as usual.
This time they're out for blood. They're trying to slit his throat.
Well, they definitely say something like that at some point. And then there's the bird lady, the homeless or the houseless woman with the bird obsession. Although,
is that Donald Trump?
No, Donald Trump is in this. He owns the hotel that Kevin's staying at. Tim Curry's like the manager of the hotel, and he's always trying to get him. And what's his face is in this too. Rob Schneider is the bellboy, I believe, who's like a part of the team trying to get him. And it's I like the first one's a classic. I think this one still is good too. I'm sure I've mentioned that I like Home Alone 3, which was released in 97 on VHS.
Making copies. I was born in 1987.
Or maybe it's
Family Guy. Thank you for that.
Home Alone 4, whichever one has the RC car. But yeah, it says there's 6 films. Home Sweet Home Alone from last year. Remember that one? Didn't see that one. Ellie Kemper was one of the bandits in that one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But this was what gave us the Talk Boy, and we talked about the Talk Boy like way back in the first year of Namely 90s.
Extending microphone.
The Talk Boy Deluxe, you could do the speeds, and that's I got that for Christmas one of those years. Must have been a little bit later. 94.
You still use it today. You're like, note.
Yeah, just a giant cassette tape. Yeah.
Like, note to self.
Take whatever you say and make it scrambled on the audio.
Again, we just recorded an entire podcast on Talk Boys.
Welcome to Name We Talk Boys.
It'd be horrible.
I would love it. YouTube exclusive, Patreon exclusive.
Exclusive.
Yes. Anything else for November 1992? Anything else you want to talk about? There's a lot of stuff. Malcolm X, The Crying Game, both up your alley.
Are they? How so?
Those.
How about Saved by the Bell Hawaiian style? The college years. Sorry, I can't stop.
The Crying Game, right?
I think you told me about this.
Yeah, I probably have.
Crying Game.
You should also put Twist in that.
No.
Probably not the best representation of trans women anymore.
From the 90s? No kidding.
That was a twist. That's it for this week's edition of Namely 90s. Remember, you can find new episodes out every Monday. Check the episode description for this week's supplemental Spotify playlist curated by yours truly. Find us on Twitter and Instagram at Namely90s90s, or find our personal little accounts at Bshwitty and at NamelyAndrew, and tell us what you want us to talk about on future episodes. If you'd like to support the show, please check us out on our Patreon at patreon.com/Namely90s, also with a 90s. Finally, you can also contact us through our website, namely90s.com. No, you can't. Please subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, TalkBoy, Deezer, TuneIn, iHeart, GoodPods, and wherever you get your podcasts from. I'm Brandon, that's Andrew, and we will catch you next time.
Bye. A whole new world. A whole new